So welcome to another video, guys. Today I'm going to take you through my final squat, bench and deadlift day in preparation for this weekend's powerlifting competition. Today I've got squat, bench and deadlift all at 85%. So today's session should be just leaving me feeling confident, ready for the weekend, but also still grease the groove at a relatively high percentage. I want to take you through some of my thoughts going into the competition on the weekend, numbers that I plan on hitting, and how I'm kind of strategizing those numbers. So let's get through today's session. I'll catch you in a bit. So let me give you guys a bit of an insight into how I warm up to my top set. So today's top set is going to be 205 kilos. So that's 85% of my predicted 1RM. So I've been working off around 240 kilos as my 1 rep max. So something I've been extremely consistent on is my warm-ups, and I'm going to be extremely consistent with them on the day of competition as well. So I've been starting out with an empty bar. I always do. I use it just to grease the groove, feel good with the movement. And then I throw on a set of 25s, so then that takes me to 70 kilos. And then I alternate by either adding on a 15 kilo plate or a 25 kilo plate. So I'm taking about a 20 to 30 kilo jump each set. Now this is just a warm-up set that works for me. You might want to try something different, but I like to make sure I'm extremely consistent. And if I need to spend some time at a set weight, I'll happily do that, because that's then going to give me an opportunity to make sure the reps are feeling good. And if it's not, I can make some slight changes. It might be I need to be a little bit wider for the day because my hips are a bit tighter. I might need to add a couple of pause reps just to kind of feel good in that bottom position. Now, on top of warm-up weights, also when I start adding in certain accessories is consistent as well. So once I hit 160, this is then where I put on my wrist wraps and I put on my belt. Not because I necessarily need these things, because it's at this point where I say, right, it's now time to switch on, get myself ready, and then get myself extremely specific to building myself up to that top weight. So now I'm just going to be doing singles all the way up. So let's go. So it didn't move as fast as I wanted, but it moved. That's the main thing. So now onto my working sets of 205 kilos. Now I would hope that this would feel better, but what I've discovered is training in my home gym, I've really struggled to access my top percentages. I really struggled to really push that little bit extra. Now the reason I can say this is because last week, 230 kilos felt a lot easier than this. Now this is only 200 kilos. That's 30 kilos difference. I've not suddenly got 30 kilos weaker. I am feeling slightly under the weather. The kids have got me with their cough. I've been being coughed in the face continuously for a couple of weeks, and I've been managed to fight it off. But this week, the cough has got me. But no excuses. I've already made all those in the last video. If you haven't checked that one out, see the video there. But I'm going to start my working sets now. Let's get this done, then get into the bench press. Let's go. Okay, so that was my top set at 205 kilos. Felt pretty good. I mean, could definitely felt better, but as I said to you just there, I think just the fact that I'm in my home gym, not surrounded by others, I like to kind of perform. So when there's other people around, I like to make sure I'm working and pushing myself as hard as I can. So in regards of what I plan on hitting on comp day, now I'm basing off last week's peak performance, because last week was my peak week. This week is my essentially comp prep week, where I'm deloading the body slightly, but I'm keeping the intensity high. So the volume's down, the intensity is still up. So I'm looking at those 85% marks to make sure I'm still firing and still wanting the body to perform. Now I think comp day, I'm going to look to open at 227.5, so that's 500 pounds in those freedom units. And then from there, I think I'm going to look to keep on adding on about 5 to 10 kilos. So I hope you want to finish around the 240 kilo mark, which, to be honest with you, if I hit 240 at under 100 kilo body weight, and then I hit 250 last year at 110 kilo body weight, I'll take that. So we're gonna have to see, but as I said, comp day, I make the final calls on seeing how I'm feeling, but the goal at the moment is to open up with 227.5 kilos, which is 500 pounds. So, on to bench press, let's do it. So a slightly different warm-up compared to the squat, but still following a similar sort of principle. Still start with the bar, I always do, just to grease that groove. Then instead of starting at 70 like I do in the squats, I start at 50, but then I go 50, 70, 100, and 100 kilos is when I get my wrist wraps on. Now from here, I then do my smaller jumps, then I go up every 10 kilos until I get close to my working weight. Now today's working sets are at 127 kilos. So I'm about to do 110 now. It's gonna move fast, it's gonna move smooth. Then to 120, and then I'm gonna start my 2 working sets at that 127. So let's make this look fast, let's make it look smooth. Right, so that was a good rep, happy with that. Now, what am I going to open with my bench press if I'm pretty sure my 1RM is 150 kilos? Now, because I've been consistently doing my bench press after my back squat, last week where I hit a pretty heavy back squat, I could still perform on the bench press. So I'm probably going to open with 145 kilos next week, take 150 kilos as probably my second attempt, and then see where I go from there, whether I call it there for the day and save it for the deadlift, or go for a third attempt at potentially higher. But again, I'm gonna base it on the day, see how I feel, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna open at 145 just to make sure. Don't wanna miss a rep, especially not your opener, because then you're chasing yourself the whole time. Now I know from previous performances that just a lift off itself gives me about an extra 5 kilos. Not knowing that I don't have to press it out and set myself up makes a big difference. Now you might be thinking that bar is set pretty low, as you can see there, and it is, but the main reason for that is so that I can get myself set underneath it and press the weight out rather than having to get it up and over the J hooks. So I'm a big proponent of kind of setting the J hooks slightly lower than you normally think you need to, mainly because for the squat, for me, I like to make sure they're slightly down so I can get myself nice and tight underneath and step up and clear those J hooks no matter what, because as you know, as the weights get heavier, you kind of compress a little bit more. And it's a similar sort of principle with the bench press. With the bench, I like to have them set a little bit lower so that when I unrack it, I don't need to press my shoulders forward out of my set position, because when I set up for the bench press, my shoulders are down and back to create that arch that I'm looking to hold. And I don't want to then press my shoulders forward to unrack it and then have to re-find that retract to press scapular position. Right, so enough of that. It's now into the deadlifts. It's been my recent nemesis. But in a weird way, today's session has actually left me feeling quite positive about them, because they have been feeling pretty ropey in here. But squats didn't feel 100%, but I know I've not suddenly got a load weaker. And the bench press pretty much felt as it's been feeling. So if I take that logic and move it into the deadlifts, I'm technically going to be stronger than I've ever been in here. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's go. So now on to deadlifts. Today I'm going to be basing my top number, I think, off of around 260, 270. So the goal today is around 220 kilos to 230 kilos. So I'm going to see what feels good, what feels fast, what fills me with confidence, not fills me with doubt. So I'm really using this as a setup for the weekend ahead. Now 230 kilos would be roughly around a 270, 275 kilo 1RM. So, you know, I really don't know where I'm at with my deadlift. So it's really going to be a wait and see. But as long as I hit a solid 220, 225-ish today, I'm probably going to open up the competition with a 240. So it is a bit ballsy since that's the heaviest I've actually lifted in the gym. But I'm thinking 240 would be fine for me on the day. And I might even go a little bit heavier, but we'll have to see and wait. So, right, let's get these final warm-up sets done before we get to our working sets. Top set. Yes! Yes! Oh, yes, there we go. There we go. That was a massive confidence booster. 230, probably the fastest it's moved this whole prep. Oh, positive mindset and all that jazz. I went in feeling good from the squats and the bench, and it kind of leaked on into the deadlift. And the funny thing is, it's because the squats didn't feel as good as they should have, made me then realize I might not be really weak on the deadlift. I might still be weak, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see on Saturday. But really positive. Today finished off with 2 sets of 1 at 205 on the squat, as you saw. 127 kilos for 2 sets of 1 there. Feeling pretty good as well. And on the deadlift, that 1 top set at the 230 kilos. And it felt really good. So buzzing for the weekend. This prep has definitely been all over the place. Obviously, so as introducing the more hybrid approach to my training has meant that my priorities have been mainly towards endurance because it's what I've been enjoying. But there's nothing like lifting a heavy barbell for me. So yeah, buzzing to now get the weekend done and then kind of lead me into next year's goals, which I will do a whole separate video on them, kind of plans, races that I've got in store, and how I'm going to be blending both strength with endurance, because just because I'm doubling down on endurance definitely doesn't mean I want to become a skinny triathlete. That's a guaranteed. But let's focus on the task at hand. Competition in 5 days time. Just need to drop about 1 kilo over the next couple of days, just to make sure I definitely hit under that 100 kilo bracket. My plan is to film the whole thing, so I'll be able to bring you guys through the whole journey, obviously traveling from down south to up north, competing with both Adam and Jamie, clients and close friends, and then hopefully bringing home some decent performances to kind of set me up into next year. So I hope you enjoyed today's little insight into what I do in my final week before competition. And if you have any questions in regard to strength training or how you might want to peak for your own sort of competition, whether that's an actual competition or just a test day, then do drop it in the comment section down below or get in contact with me. You can find me on Instagram, search at RobsDoesPT. I'll put a link in the description box down below. But if you did enjoy today's video, I really appreciate a thumbs up. I've got a lot of plans for YouTube over this next year, investing in the content, making sure I can bring the best content possible to you guys. So if there is anything you want me to cover, do put it in the comment section down below. I'll be sure to try and get some videos covering that. I've got a couple ideas already in the works from comments and people getting in contact. So if you do have anything, do let me know. But thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.